man Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and it's tier list time. We could do a little bit of a ranking to do with music, specifically 25 famous, well-known horror themes. Theme songs that are played in horror movies. Yeah. Most of them from more of an earlier thing than anything else. I can't really think there have been many sort of like really memorable modern horror themes. No. So you often go back to sort of the past for it. And immediately you'll probably think of some, you know, Halloween, The Exorcist, Jaws. These are ones that immediately come to mind. They're classics if you want. Yeah, the classics as we say, you know. So we've got 25. I'll pull out 25 random ones. We're going to rank them into 5 categories. We've got iconic, sounds great, good, meh, and it's rubbish. E.g., you know, it's just not a good theme, or it's not that memorable, or anything like that. I'll be surprised, considering it's only 25, if any really end up there, you know. Because immediately, like, you almost have to start drawing from the more famous ones. Yeah. But some, I think, like, maybe aren't, like, wildly famous, but, like, when you hear them, like, you think, oh, God, they're great. Do you know what I mean? Like, that sort of thing. But we'll go through them. We'll go through them step by step. For this, we will be doing it, like, we won't be playing the song out loud to you, because that'd be really distracting, and we'll just be sitting there and it'll sound tinny as shit and all of that. Yeah. However, we will be cutting this video up when it comes to it and delivering a sort of snippet for you to listen to as well, as much as possible, but hopefully avoiding a ton of copyright claims. Yeah. I suspect I won't be able to get around too much of that. But we'll begin then, right, with the original Friday the 13th theme. Yeah, so this one, I think with this one, when it initially kicks off, a lot of people may not immediately recognise it as a Friday the 13th theme song. Yeah. I think I get that as well, because, be honest, what's more iconic in that? It's the ki ma 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 part, part, more than anything else. See, because that's used as sort of a reoccurring sound in the movies over X amount of period of time. So this sort of hyper violin and quite sharp sound that it's got with almost an energetic vibe. Yeah. I don't think people would initially recognise. They might go, okay, well, that's definitely from the 80s because it's got that vibe or something like that. But whether or not they would recognise it inherently. Yeah. But obviously that ki ma 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 bit is so iconic. Yeah. Like, it's so well known. It's something like that anyway. So well known, like, kind of when it hits into that and it's got a nice echo, it's very cool. But it's so far from my favourite kind of horror theme. Like, even I, if I hadn't seen all the movies and seen them so many times, might struggle to place that one compared to some of the others. You're less of a Friday the 13th fan than I am.
Yeah, I would go for... Oh, I don't know, I think I'd go for good.
I'm kind of leaning in the middle for this one as well, starting off, just as a starting point as well. But, like, it's good because you've got that ki, you know, and...
It's quite frantic.
Like, and you've got that kind of thing going on.
But that doesn't really...
But that's not
that doesn't
maybe
fit
enough.
Into the same, what I would picture of Friday the 13th.
It's hard because because it's a slasher movie. What really works? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you going for here? You could say it's got kind of the sort of tension and energized pace that you might expect from a slasher movie. You know,
I'm still going to go with good.
I think good's fine. I'm happy enough to put it in good as a starting point. You know, it's Friday the 13th. Far from my favourite sort of horror franchise / slasher franchise. Anyway. Right, up next, one I know so well, I adore, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street. So immediately I want to put this one in iconic, almost, but I have to, there's a second part why I think it actually just goes and sounds great. So when I think of this theme, I think of basically the opening tones, that down, that part, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. The overall theme, the actual longer version that kind of goes a lot darker and stuff like that, has this cool, real nightmarish quality to it. There's a lot of atmosphere to this piece of music. Yeah. It's got a lot of vibe to it. It feels suitably aged. That's all really, really good. But if I didn't have that opening section, The down, 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 down.
Yeah, it wouldn't-
I don't know if I would even recognise that as a song from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, I wouldn't.
That's the thing. So because of that, I'm like, well, okay, you can't just snippet that little part. You've got to do the overall thing. So, and I do like the overall thing. For me, sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I agree with that.
Okay. No other input.
No, it's difficult because obviously like the extended versions do go on a bit and they don't
Of course.
have that extra part of
And
it.
you wouldn't necessarily get that full 4 minutes in the movie. You don't get that for starters and stuff like that. It might come at the end credits. It might be something that's more for the soundtrack. So it's fair to sort of say you can't argue that part of it.
And I think a lot of people would kind of associate more the 1, 2, 3,
True.
4, for you. As if you said, oh, Freddie's theme, they might quickly go, oh, that. And so, oh, no, that was a song in the...
I can see your thinking,
So, I wouldn't go any higher than sounds great.
I think it still sounds great because it's super, super sinister sounding. It's got a really cool vibe. Okay, up next, it's one that you won't think you know until you hear it.
Okay.
It is The Omen. This is a piece of music to me nails exactly the omen, the feel of satanic devilry, the feel of things bigger than us, things ancient evil, things that we have no control over, that nothing we could do to stop it. The Latin, the chorus, the choral voices, the dark tone, the build up in tempo, eventually reaches quite a crescendo, this track as well. That is fucking amazing. That is iconic.
Yeah,
it is
definitely.
Dread incorporated. That is, like, to me, that is the most, not just perfect for The Omen, but generally that feeling of, like, this is evil beyond your imagination. This is nothing you can do to even halt it, stop it. You are nothing in the face of Satan.
Yeah, and I think it's the Latin as well. Kind
Yep.
of gives it like an
Of
upside
course.
again, like it goes a dead language. There's no way of like going. Ooh,
It's emphatic, and of course you hear stuff like that, and you almost automatically link it to again ancient times and stuff like that. So for me, it's iconic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, more modern here, but one that I think is generally brilliant. It's Saw. This is awesome. I generally think this is one of the most coolest, and I say modern, but it's not that modern anymore. It's over 20 years old. But when we're talking about the classics, we've currently just touched upon 3 movies from the 70s and the 80s. Does that mean? So like this feels more modern. But holy shit, this is incredibly energetic,
Layered.
sinister, with these cool effects, but with a really memorable beat. And almost when you hear it, you get taken back to the first time it plays. And I'm 99% sure the first time it plays in the movie would they obviously spoil the big reveal at the end when he gets up and it kicks in and you start going that like that is so fucking cool. I don't know, I just really, really like it. I think it's really good. I think it sounds great.
Yeah, I go for sounds great.
Is it better than I know? Because I'm in Elm Street. Yeah, I feel like it is because it's a better song overall. Because even if you get that intro, and I think about the intro in Saw, where you get that whole, you get those back-end effects almost like an echo, the thing, and then it kicks into the sort of main theme. So yeah, I'm saying that's really, really, it sounds great, like really, really good. Okay, I already know I'm putting this one. I already know I'm putting this in iconic. We could almost not even have to listen to it or talk about it, but we will because we said we would. It is Candyman. What can I possibly say to oversell this track? So this obviously it's called Helen's theme, but it is the main Candy one. It's what the film opens, what the film ends with, and it's I wouldn't necessarily say it's iconic in the sort of general public's view,
No.
I don't necessarily think that works. I know they utilised it well and changed the theme around, but to brought it into elements of the new Candyman movie and stuff like that. A decent movie. Nowhere as bad as you would have thought it would be and stuff like that, but irrelevant. This is the original Candyman. So what I love about this is, to me, it gets across... I don't think it would have told me before what I was going to watch, but having seen the film a lot, it's one of the best movies ever made. It's 10 out of 10. It really is a fantastic movie, horror movie and all of that. Yeah. But what I get from it is sadness. To me, it's incredibly sad because that piano melody. But then as you transition into this sort of choral voices, you know, that bit, that's where you get the sense of epic, almost fairy tale, almost like legend stuff, which ties into the feeling of the movie, what the movie is.
Yeah, because it uses piano rather than like digital, like modern effects.
Yep.
It does basically take you back.
Well, yeah, I think the two predominant you've got the keyboard, the piano, and just the voices when they come in, because it's just that that key playing, and it's a really nice melody.
I think sometimes simplicity as well, which I really like.
It's very simple, but then I think by adding the voices in, it adds a certain level, and those obviously reach a crescendo as well. So that certainly adds a lot more weight and oomph to it. I think it just drips in emotion. I think it's such an amazing track. I think it's iconic. Definitely. I think it is. However, I'm going to kind of go with the whole, what do more people probably would recognise here? I probably think I'd put it after the Omen.
I've put it before. I would say
the top? On a personal level, yeah. But like, I mean, I suppose it's our tier list. So,
I'd say a lot more people would have heard of Candyman.
No! What? No! Absolutely not. Right, no, you've got to agree with me here. More people will know that Omen because of how parodied it's been, when it's been used, and so on. Even if they don't know it's from the Omen, they will know that piece of music.
I still think Candyman.
But you think more people, if you played either and said, which one do you recognise?
Candyman.
Oh, I'd massively disagree. Massively disagree. But this is our tier list. I prefer Candyman to the Omen.
So it's going to go top.
So it's going to go top.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're so wrong in that thought process. Okay, up next, it is, of course, The Exorcist, famously Tubular Bells. Yeah, I mean, it's iconic for really just the opening. That dun, 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 you know, it's that more than anything else. It's been parodied, it's been used. It is The Exorcist. However, I just think it's okay. I just think it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't really it doesn't really evoke any major emotions in me. It doesn't really excite me. I know it, but when I hear it, I don't think, oh yeah, Exorcist. I'm just like, oh yeah, Exorcist.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared, like, my feelings about The Exorcist are very rarely related to any of the music, if I'm honest.
And it wasn't created for the film, was it? It was just a bit of music on its own.
Tubular Bells.
I don't think it was made for the film.
It may not have been. I'm not entirely sure on that at all. But regardless, it's hard because, again, I mean, we're going to do this on personal more than actual things, because you kind of almost have to put an iconic because it's the Exorcist theme and it is so well known. But this is personal, and for me, I'd put it top of good above Friday the 13th.
Same.
Because the other ones really, really invoke feelings in me, whether emotion, terror, horror. Exorcist, I just kind of go, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you agree?
Yep, I agree with that one.
It's Jaws. This might be arguably maybe the most parodied piece of music in regards to sort of horror than anything else. You know it, you know the slow dread build up to the frantic energy, and so on, that kind of thing. Like, to the point almost where, similar to, I guess, the songs that have been covered so much are overplayed, that I don't really want to hear the Jaws theme anymore. Like, if I hear it, I don't know if I'd be like, I don't know if I'd cringe or just be like, skip, that kind of thing.
I still like it. I still think it...
It's a very good theme. It really is a good theme. And that, simply put, that part has been used for so many things now. For anything coming towards you, hiding underneath something to then surprise you.
I still think it's iconic, though.
It's iconic. It is. I mean, yeah, it's iconic. I get that, but do you think like it belongs up there alongside Candyman and the Omen?
I'd maybe go for Sounds Great. Top of Sounds Great.
Oh, this is hard. This is hard because I'm trying to distance their personal feelings to the whole like everyone should. I mean, I suppose it is. All right, let's say it is iconic then, but then it has to go top because not only is it most recognisable, but in regards to like what it does,
it gets you. Yeah, because I think a lot of people would.
I think there are a few people in the world who would hear that and not associate that with danger.
Yeah.
Danger, you know? Even if they don't necessarily know what it's from.
Yeah.
It's the top, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Sticking with iconic themes, it's Halloween. I mean, it's Halloween. Part of the reason why this continues to be so iconic is because you can't get rid of it. You can't really get rid of it. I realise the modern movies don't use the original theme, of course, and often twist it around and mess around with it and stuff like that. But it is still there in some shape or form. It's super sinister. It's super creepy. It's super dark. I want to put this in iconic alongside Jaws. Yeah. I want to put it after Jaws, though.
100%, like it fits the time it came out.
I still enjoy hearing it. When I hear it, I'm like, Halloween.
Yeah.
So I reckon after Jaws, though, because I reckon more people recognise Jaws.
Definitely.
And I think maybe Jaws overall, the whole, because Halloween repeats itself.
Yeah.
Quite quickly. It is a very simple synthy kind of melody, whereas Jaws is quite detailed and layered. And you know, even though it's got that same beat, yeah. Okay, right, that's fine. I still think Candyman should not be above Omen. I really, really don't think it should. But fine. Okay, maybe far less iconic unless you've seen the movie. Yeah. And arguably, I don't think it's the theme per se, but I think it's become de facto the theme. Right. This is Halloween 3, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. This is, of course, the Silver Shamrock theme, basically. 10 more days to Halloween, 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 10 more days to Halloween, silver. It gets stuck in your head. Whether you like it or not, it gets stuck in your bloody head. It's played several times throughout the movie because, of course, it's counting down to Halloween. It's played at the credits. I think it might be played at the start. I'm not sure about that. Maybe not. No, I think it might just be a sort of synthy thing. So, like I said, that's why I've kind of... I think it's been adopted as the main theme of Halloween 3. Yeah. Obviously, it's not iconic. It doesn't even sound great because the voices are kind of jarring. But, good God, does it get stuck in your head and become sing-along, you know?
I'd go for good.
I'd go for good as well, but bottom of good?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really deserve to go above either of those two main themes. The Thing. So, of course, this is kind of played twice. The first sort of short version, the dun is played in the intro of the movie as we get the logo, and then as we lead into the helicopter flying and shooting at the dog. The longer version, the part that kind of extends, is what comes at the end as the credits roll. We go into that. For me, it's that opening that is the iconic part. That dum dum.
Yeah, it's very tense.
It's very tense. It sums up dread. It sends up darkness. It feels very cold, isolated. It's very simple. And some of the simplicity, particularly in these classic movies, sometimes worked more than anything else. It didn't need to be uber complicated, and it still was kind of very, very cool. I think it sounds great. I don't know if I'd put it in iconic.
No. But definitely sounds great. For the fit, like it fits the film so well. It
does, it really does. I kind of want to put it after Saw, but above Nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds
I feel like, because I just love Saw's energy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really, really cool. We are kind of sticking with sort of lesser known ones, but ones that I think are really, really cool themes nonetheless. And I think if you know the movies, you enjoy them very, very much. Zombie Fleshy Ears. So I love this one. This is so cool. It sells the sinisterness of the horror that's in it. You got that kind of zombie march, that dum dum dum. Then it kicks into that really synthy gothic kind of meow meow, and then like gets lighter as it goes on with that twinkly almost piano thing. But it's really fucking cool. But I do get like in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not iconic in the way that a lot of the other ones on this are. However, this is our list, and if we put Candyman at high, I want to put Zombie Flesh Eaters at high too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think just at the end of iconic.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Another weird one, certainly probably the rarest one maybe on this list, arguably. That's probably least recognisable because it is, of course, Cannibal Holocaust. I love this, and I love this because of how it's almost in complete contrast to the actual film and the horror that you see within it. It's light, it's airy, it's really kind of sweet, almost melodramatic to a certain degree, and it's used, obviously it's the main theme at the start, but it's also used in like the end and some of the more horrible moments it plays over, and I think that adds, there's obviously the scene where they burn the huts with the people inside them. It's used then. Yeah. And that, like, that incredible contrast to me is so fucking harrowing.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I don't. It doesn't fit the film.
I feel like it fits the film perfectly. Because the whole point of the film is they're liars, they're charlatans, they're not good people. And you've got this almost like sweet, like that, as if this is, you know, the true horror.
It doesn't fit at all.
Oh, we have a big debate here.
Yeah.
Because I would have put this in Sounds Great.
No.
Where were you going to put it then?
Meh.
Then we have got me in middle at good.
Good. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
As long as you can't make me middle.
But I want to put it. I'll put it after the Exorcist before Friday the 13th. Yeah. Okay. Let's meet in the middle. It should be Sounds Great.
Yeah.
But no, not Meh. The Return of the Living Dead. Okay, there is a part of me that thinks this should be top of iconic, the very top, because it is obviously so iconic to me. It is spectacular in a movie that is filled with a soundtrack overall that is spectacular. But I think about where this theme kicks in. This is my argument for iconic. Think about where this theme kicks in. It kicks in after Frank and what have I forgotten his name? Frank and what have I forgotten his name? Oh my god, it's gone from my head. Oh, Frank and
Ernie?
No. Bert and Ernie, two different characters. Frank and Tom Matthews' character. Oh my god, why have I forgotten it? I've forgotten his name. Can't remember it for the life of me. I can hear it being said in my head. It's going to come back to me any moment now, and it's just going to be like, of course it is. But anyway, when he gets splashed, sprayed with the smoke that escapes the tank when he slaps the side, and then that theme kicks in, that boom, and the camera pans over their shaking bodies, and then you get the logo when it kicks into that whole boom, boom, down, down. And that, I think that's fucking incredible because it's super dark, super twisted sounding, but it's clearly fun as well. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in like twinkly kind of things. It's got this dripping sound that's like implying like sewery and dirty and trashy, which again plies into the movie. Yeah. So for me, I feel like it's iconic.
Whereabouts in iconic though?
Well, I mean, I put it alongside because I kind of like, for me, I guess it's similar to like Candyman. And now I don't expect everybody to know this. Yeah. But when you do, you might. So like,
I'd go for.
Where would you put it?
Above Zombie Flesh Eaters.
I'd put it above Candyman.
Okay.
That's my one. Yeah, because there's some that I might have a different agreement on coming up. The Lost Boys. So it's arguable whether or not this is a theme, so to speak, and all that, but it's the one that plays the opening in the movie, the opening credits. Lost Boys doesn't really have them, but this is kind of seen as it, because it's like the opening theme, and it is the song Cry Little Sister, you know the song really, really well. It's odd. because it's a cool song, like. Sister,
yeah,
you know,
the kids in the background.
Yeah, like it's cool and all that, but when you watch the movie, it doesn't fit.
No,
it doesn't really. Beyond being just like a song, like I don't really get it. So I'm on the fence about this one. I think it's a cool song. I think it's a cool introduction to it because you obviously get that swooping shot over the town, the boardwalk, and all of that, leading to the first death and stuff like that.
I'd say it sounds great.
No, I disagree. I would have put this maybe good.
Okay.
Maybe good, and maybe the bottom of good.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that low. Why sounds great? Because it's a cool song?
Yeah, but I suppose you've got to think of it in terms of the film as well.
I would say, I'd imagine, like, if you said to people who know the film, all right, what's Lost Boys' theme? They might pause and go, oh, is it Cry Little Sister? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing. So, it can't go higher than Tubular Bells, I think.
Above Cannibal Holocaust, though.
Oh, I disagree. I want Cannibal Holocaust higher.
Okay, well, Cannibal Holocaust then.
No, Friday the 13th is more iconic.
Above the...
All right, above Halloween 3.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that's fair enough. I'll submit to that one.
Yeah.
The Shining. Okay, it's The Shining. Mm-hmm. Considering this is kind of one of your favourite
iconic
horror movies, iconic. Why?
The ominous feeling is sometimes worse than the horror of the film.
Right.
What they do with music as you lead into that film is incredible. Like, you're just seeing it from their point of view, and your gut already knows it's going to be horrific. There's nothing pleasant about it. It's made to make you feel on edge. It's kind of like what David Fincher tries doing, like with Seven one, and I think obviously Trent Reznor and stuff when he does soundtracks. It gives you a feeling of a place. So I go iconic. So I don't know where you're going to go with it.
I kind of I was thinking it would go alongside The Thing, because I think they've got the same sort of ominous introduction in particular, you know.
Shining does more, but it's ominous though.
So you want to put it on iconic, and I want to put it in sounds great.
Mm-hmm. You know I'm right. It is.
Okay, but at the end of iconic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, ahead of Zombie Flesh Eaters, and all of them go ahead of it, I think.
Yeah.
Hellraiser. So I really like this one. I think it gets across two things. I think it starts almost playfully, almost fun, which kind of ties into the puzzle box and the sense of wonder that surrounds it. But then as it develops and you get kind of more instrumentals, you get more strings coming in, it becomes a bit more orchestral rather than just sort of one tone. You then get this kind of feeling of dread as it enhances, and suddenly there's a danger behind it, and a sense of epic.
Yeah.
And I think that contrast works really, really, really well. I think this is a sounds great one.
Yeah. I did have to kind of be reminded of it, because I couldn't picture it at all in my head.
Which is fair.
I really struggled. I was like, I couldn't remember it at all. And I think you could use it. Could be parts of it could be used in other types of films.
Okay.
Kind of the nice swell of it. I'm like, I wouldn't automatically go, that's clearly from a horror film.
Okay. All right.
I'd still say it sounds great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it does. It's got a lot of layers to it. Yeah. I'm happy enough to put this in. Well, sounds great. At the end, have Freddy Krueger have Nightmare on Elm Street higher. Yeah, okay with that. All right, this is an interesting one. Day of the Dead. Maybe not as well known as many of the others, but in this list already. But I think when you think of like the Dead themes, this might be the one that people remember the most potentially. So I think that's pretty cool. It's kind of synthy. It's very old school because it was the last of this original trilogy, the latest one in it. Yeah. It still uses lots of those themes.
It's very, very, very melancholic. And when you watch the film, you're like,
it does fit.
You kind of want more for him, you know?
Yeah, it does fit. It does fit. Yeah. But I don't think it's particularly spectacular. Like, I don't think it's, when I hear it, I tend to obviously think of that intro, the city and the newspaper blows across and, hello, is anyone out there? That stuff. Me, I'm thinking Good?
Good. I'd go for good.
Where? Maybe near the end, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right at the end or above Halloween and Lost Boys of Friday the 13th?
No, I still keep it bottom.
At the end, yeah. Okay. Right, we're sticking with some lesser known ones. It is Pet Sematary. Yeah, this one I don't really care for, if I'm honest. And a major part I don't care for it is that it's that kind of used a lot on early Stephen King adaptions where it's like, choral voices, really high and jarring through your thing. It's overtly designed to be like, oh, look how creepy this is. And this is used as it pans across the pet cemetery and you see the gravestones and all that. Yeah, and it takes an age to really kind of get going as well, till you hit that sort of piano bit and then the recognisable bit. So for me, this is the first one for me. Yeah,
I'll go for
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, this is definitely going to be a different one. It's Poltergeist. What makes this one quite interesting is that ultimately it's just a very, very sweet, sort of sappy kind of piece of music and doesn't have any kind of real horror connotations in relation to what Poltergeist actually is. But I think that makes it really, really good and clever because ultimately part of Poltergeist's, the movie's best moments are often the family dynamic. It's ultimately you want to feel connected to this family and you want to fear for their safety and you want to care about them. Having this music playing over the intro as it does throughout and even at the end, it feels
very wholesome.
Wholesome is the right word. It fits that perfectly. It puts you at ease because it's relaxed. So when horror does happen, it feels way more terrifying, more intense.
And I think the people that are involved in this film as well, it all come from very wholesome, like American. See what I mean? It was quite a big budget, fairly big budget, kind of glossy looking film.
Yeah, Toby Hooper, what's his name? Spielberg, people like that. So for me, like I think it's a good theme, and I just don't think it's like sounds great or is iconic. But I think it's a good theme. I would put it above Lost Boys after Friday the 13th.
Yeah, sounds fair.
Okay, maybe one you probably never even heard before. It's Puppet Master. This is one of those you kind of have to know it if you're a fan of the Puppet Master movies. We've seen several of them. You'll kind of recognise this too because it is the Puppet Master theme, the franchise theme as much as anything else. I think it works really nicely in conjunction in the movie. I think even without knowing them, you hear that and you almost think of like a carousel, like carnival kind of that sort of vibe to it. Thanks to that.
I've not seen the films. It reminds me of a video game.
Right.
Don't like it.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it sounds a bit like one of them kind of made for TV kind of like films or a video game. I think it sounds a bit.
Okay, I mean, it is an 80s movie, the original, so it's kind of hard to...
It's hard to say because I've not seen the film.
Yeah.
I'm just judging on how it sounds, as if like, chapter 1, no.
Okay, well, where would you put it?
Meh for me.
No.
But that's just me.
I mean, I would have put it in good. I would put it in good, but like, I'd have maybe gone around Poltergeist Lost Boys area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
but we'll meet in the middle. We'll put it at the end of good.
Yeah.
That way, it's in good, but it's at the bottom.
Yeah.
28 days later. I think this is fantastic. I do. I think it starts with so subtlety and begins to build in volume as step by step with that same melody, that same simple dun, dun, melody over and over again, but then layers come in, you get a bit more of a heavy drum beat, and then obviously it leads to what is quite a frantic bow now now, and it's actually used in 28 weeks later as well. In fact, arguably I think it might be better used in 28 weeks later because it's used when Robert Carlyle's character is escaping, and you get that build up when he first comes out the window, so when it hits the cacophony of noise that happens, it's when he's running for his desperate life being chased by them. It fits, it's tense, it's amazing. It's used when Cillian Murphy in the original kind of starts to panic in London and realise nothing's around and elements like that. So and it's also used at the end when he's doing his whole assaulting the manor with the army men inside and stuff like that. I think it's fucking iconic. I think it's brilliant.
It feels very kind of gritty and it feels very British.
It does. It does.
There's something about it, I think, because it sounds like a kind of like a sort of late 90s, early 90s kind of like indie bands.
Okay.
Like sort of kind of big
I don't know if I'd
flavour.
agree with that. I think it gets across horror quite nicely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It sounds very.
Well, it's not an indie band, then, is it?
No, but like it would be something maybe like a British indie band would kind of.
Stop saying British indie
you
band.
Know what I mean, though.
No, I don't. I can't get what you mean by British indie band.
It sounds British.
I just think it sounds like a good, a pretty damn good piece of music for a horror
It
movie.
sounds British, which makes sense because it's set in England.
Okay, well, where would you put it?
Sounds great.
Oh, you want to put Sounds Great?
Yeah.
But near the top?
Makes you feel. It feels apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm, okay.
So, desperate. So I would go for above Hellraiser for me. That's my personal opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, I'd argue the rest are better. Like, yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, we've got 4 left. Up next is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. It's a cult classic, obviously, considered a cult classic. Whether or not you actually think it's a good movie or not is beside the point. It has a cult following, and its piece of music is pretty much a play on the whole carnival, clowny kind of theme, a bit more rocked up and stuff like that. It's a fun theme. It's a solid, fun theme. You know, I don't think there's anything particularly special about it or interesting.
It does the sort of the echoing voices at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it actually, that, weirdly enough, that intro is like, here's a sinister feel. Here's some scary voices laughing, and then here's that.
Just remind you it's a stupid film.
Yeah, basically cutting into the sort of comedic aspect. So where are we putting this?
I'd definitely go just for good.
Good, but near the end,
Yeah.
right? Maybe at the end? Yeah, you know what, at the end. I think Puppet Master's more iconic. Night of the Demons. It's so fucking 80s. It is so 80s. Like, even if you don't know where that's from and the movie it's from, and I can understand why you may not, because it is a bit of a rare cut.
Yeah.
Like, you might know the movie, because that's got a bit of a cult following these days, but the actual music there, I don't think you necessarily know unless you've watched the film a lot, that kind of thing. But my God, if you put that on and say, what era? They'll be like, that's 80s. The 80s, 100%. Yeah. Good God. And like those over-the-top horror sound effects that's like, and stuff like that. And it kicks into a kind of like a synthy rock beat. But, you know, like you can picture someone sitting going like that, you know, like that kind of thing. I think it's fun, which to me fits the movie nicely. But I accept that it's no one's really going to know it.
Yeah, I'd go for maybe.
I think good.
End of good though.
End of good, yeah. All right, let's stick it at the bottom of good. Yeah, okay, because maybe the mother's a bit more iconic. Right. Do you know this one? It's Brain Dead. Of course, an iconic movie, an incredible movie from Peter Jackson way back when. It's fun, heartwarming, silly, violent, gory. It's all these things. It is a very, very good movie. But its soundtrack is off the wall, to say the least. And this is an off the wall theme song.
Fits.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh.
For me, it's meh.
No, I'd go for. It won't go any higher than good for me.
Right.
But yeah, I think it fits that kind of off the wall, set in suburbia. But so something a little bit not right about it. It's all a bit unhinged.
Okay, well, that's a decent enough argument.
Yeah.
So
I'd go for the bottom of good.
Bottom of good.
Bottom of good, because then we're kind of
just pile them on and good.
Yeah.
And last but not least, then City of the Living Dead. So if you know this theme, you might immediately, or if you don't know it, you might think, God, that sounds sort of similar to zombie flesh eaters and stuff like that. It's for good reason. We are talking about Fulci here, after all. I've got a real soft spot for this movie. I think it's very unique, very clever. But I fucking love the soundtrack. This is one of my, if like people point me to say, Carl, name me some of your most atmospheric horror movies that drips and bleeds gothic atmosphere and stuff like that, I would pull this movie out almost 9 times out of 10 if I could immediately come up top, because it drips, it feels it. I love it for that, and I really love that piece of music. I accept, though, it's not iconic in the same way because of the more iconic nature of Zombie Flesh Eaters overall as a movie. But I freaking love that. Yeah. It's got such the same vibes. It's still super sinister. It's got the atmosphere dripping through it. For me, it sounds great.
Sounds great,
yeah. I think it sounds great.
Definitely.
But probably at the bottom of sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. That's 25 horror themes where we put Jaws, Halloween, The Return of the Living Dead, Candyman, Too High, The Omen, Zombie Flesh Eaters, and The Shining, all in iconic. In fact, we only put one in there, and that's Pet Sematary, although I feel like, again, 1 or 2 could go down there.
Yeah.
Do we all make any changes? Anything that deserves to go up or down?
I think we were quite fair with them.
Yeah, I think so, because some are more personal feelings than anything else, I do love the Candyman theme. I just, I see what it's amongst, and I'm like, it doesn't fit. But then you could argue that neither does Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's 25 horror themes. You got any thoughts on this tier ranking? You got your own? Drop them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?